Hello again. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about something called function notation. Notation is a word that means a way of writing something. So we're going to be talking about a way of writing functions. So we have seen functions represented as equations involving x and y, such as something like y equals negative 3x plus 1. That is one way we can write an equation, but below is the same equation written using function notation. Now, it's important that you know how to read this. This f of x takes the place of y, but it is read as f of x. The letter f is kind of like the name of the function. We can put other letters in there. We'll talk about that below. But this is not f times x in parentheses. I know often parentheses could be used to denote multiplication, but f is not a variable. It's the name of the function. So this is not f times x. We can't like divide both sides by f or divide both sides by x or add fx to both sides. It's the name of the function. It kind of is permanently implanted over here. And when you see f of x written here, that's saying that the equation on the other side, that is a function. So the variable that's inside parentheses, that's going to be your independent variable. And saying we have a function that depends on what's in here, x. So other letters can be used out here. It's kind of like our dependent variable f in a sense, but it's really just kind of the name of the function. So f of x, there's your independent variable there. We still have all the real same makings of the equation on the other side. So let's go ahead and look at it and work with it a little bit, and you'll see some of the purpose of doing this. So here again we have a function. This one is called w of x. So remember, not w times x, not w parentheses x, w of x. And w of x is equal to 250x. Represents the number of words that you can read in x minutes. So how many words can you read in 8 minutes? So notice the equation starts off with x here as the general equation. Now if we want to plug in 8, we plug in 8 on the left side, and we can plug in 8 on the right side. And then if we evaluate 250 times 8, we get 2,000. So now what we can say is w of 8 is 2,000. Let me rewrite that a little bit better. 2,000. So here it gives us a lot more information. It's saying when we put in 8, we get out 2,000. This can be helpful if you're plugging in a lot of values. Now you see w of 8 is 2,000. Maybe w of 4 is 1,000. So you can put in a lot more information into that equation. Okay, so this obviously means that you can read 2,000 words in 8 minutes. So what about in 6 minutes? So in 6 minutes we would put w of 6. And that's going to be 250 times 6. So w of 6 is equal to 1,500. So we leave the 6 on the other side, kind of telling us what our input was, and we have our output on the other side. Terrific. Okay, so what about finding the range here? We've kind of talked about this a lot, but we're going to keep doing it here just to see it in function notation here. So if the domain of f of x is equal to negative 1.5x plus 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4. What's the range? So if we go ahead and put this in, what we're doing is 1.5 times 1 plus 4, and we're going to do negative 1.5 times 2 plus 4, and negative 1.5 times 3 plus 4, and negative 1.5 times 4 plus 4. And this will give us 2.5, 1, 0.5, negative 0.5 rather, and negative 2. So we would say that the range, and we'll put these in order, is negative 2, negative 0.5, 1, and 2.5. Okay, so the domain of g of x, another example, when g of x is equal to 4x minus 12 is 1, 3, 5, 7. What's the range? So we can do g of 1, g of 3, g of 5, and g of 7. So here you can see we kind of are storing the information in these parentheses. So these are going to be the inputs, and on the other side we're going to put the outputs. So when we plug in 1, we get negative 8. We plug in 3, we're going to get 0, because 4 times 3 minus 12. 12 minus 12 is 0. we plug in 5, we're going to get 8, and we plug in 7, that'll give us negative 16. So we can say that the range here, we'll write it, is negative 16. Oops, sorry, that's not negative 16. That should be positive 16, of course, is negative 8, 0, 8, 16. Okay, so beyond this is the homework, but I just want to bring your attention to examples like on the back here of the homework. So here they're asking you to use these two functions to answer these questions below. So when it says f of the function, make sure you're plugging it into this one. You don't need to plug it into the g function. Here it says g, so that's when you're going to plug it into this function. So, they're trying to make sure you've A, plugged it into the right equation, and then B, got the correct answer. So just watch out for that as you go through the homework. All right,